You think that the universe is testing you. You think that the universe is punishing you or giving you a test to beat. But what if it is actually a trauma response and an old, outdated belief that has been keeping you stuck in the exact same cycle, thinking something outside of you is going to give you the answer? In this video, I've brought out the whiteboard, and I didn't want to use it because so many people use it in their videos, but I was like, why not? Still don't know how this is gonna go. This is the first one I've done in a long time, but I have a wired fucking mic, so that's just lovely, isn't it? I don't know how this is gonna go, but I hope that you hear me throughout it. Fuck. Anyways, let's get into the fucking video. Let's get into your current state of where you are right now. While you clicked on this video, what you might be feeling right now of thinking that you always have to go through these tests to get to the next level version of yourself. You're looking for all these signs from the universe telling you that you're on the right path. This is your current state. Ready? Your current state is that you feel stuck. You feel like you're going through the exact same patterns in your life. Like it's on this autopilot that you can't seem to get out of, right? This is you waiting for a sign from the universe, which causes you, from the universe, which causes you to keep looking outwards, externally outwards, for the answers. The quote unquote answers, right? This is where you conceptualize everything as being a test from the universe. You feel like you're going through these things to reach a new state. You go through this stage and then you get a sign or you're tested to go to the next stage to be there. Then you go up and up. But you feel like every time that you're going through a hard time, the universe is testing you. For both of these ways of thinking, you are looking outwards for number one, the answers, and you're looking outside of you, as in with the universe of it testing you. So these are two different beliefs and ways of thinking, but the main problem still remains the same. You are looking outwards for answers meant to be found within. Now let's get into the actual belief of what is causing you to even stay in this cycle of looking for the answers outside of you from the universe, looking for tests, thinking that everything, all of your suffering is due to tests from the universe. And all of this is because you believe that the universe is outside of you. Something that is causing the tests and the suffering to occur, and then something outside of you to give you the answers, right? Crazy conceptualization here. So the main belief here is something outside of me decides when I feel safe, relieved, and something outside of me gives me these answers and relief, like I said, from the suffering. Something outside of me. And like I said, this all comes from your mind. I love this visual. These are seeds in your mind that are the exact belief of what we're talking about. You believe this seed in your mind is something outside of me determines relief and the answers to what? My problems. And when you believe this core thing, thinking that something outside of you is going to provide you with that relief, even if we're talking about the universe in this stance, right? Something outside of you determines relief and the answers to my problems. The main thing that you are seeking for is something outside of you for it, and you think that, you can't see it over here, but you think that it's the universe that's going to provide you with all of the answers and all of the relief from the suffering that you are really feeling right now. And that is where you feel like this externally, this all links together to where you think that you're going to get the answers from the universe. You're going through tests so that eventually you get relief. and that it's all being a test for you to see how you can handle it in order for you to feel relief. But the main thing that keeps you stuck in this exact same belief pattern and cycle is that you think the universe is something outside of you that's going to give you the answers, like I've said. This is exactly what is actually happening. And sometimes we want to, view the universe in this way, in this belief pattern of, this is the old belief, right? The universe is going to provide me with answers, honestly, by me suffering and being tested. Now, does that sound familiar to something that you've gone through in childhood? Tested, prove worthiness. This is the old belief pattern. The universe will give you the answers through tests, trials and errors, through testing, through suffering, and you'll eventually get something of what you're seeking relief from. So that's the old way of being. This is an old truth. And a lot of people talk about this online. I feel like it needs to be talked about even more because this is far from the truth. And what is actually happening here is that you are giving. Now, this is how everything is going to be tied together. Ready? Of why I said, where did this come from? Can you remember where this might have happened in early childhood, early life? This is where it all ties together. Ready? What is actually happening is you are giving the universe external authority. And what does this sound like? From trauma, from childhood. This means parents. This means old caregivers. This means how you lived your life as a child, environment, everything outside of us, which is how we normally grow up, right? To think that something externally is in charge of us. This is the old wiring and the old conditioning of what we believe to be true, which is why it's a different type of belief in a new form that we think is actually helping us because it's masked with something that seems to be right, seems to be something that is true, right? Just because it's in a spiritual sense doesn't mean it's actually true. So in this stance, because we learned as kids, you learned as a child that your parents are the authority of your life. The caregivers, the people around you were all the authority in your life. And they gave you the answers. They were the ones to where you looked up to for everything. You might have been tested as a kid. You might have had to prove yourself as a kid, which is why this pattern is reconfigured to being now to the universe instead of your parents. So it used to be from your parents, you might have had to prove yourself through it by suffering, and then you would get the relief. And now the new form is the same exact pattern, but a new thing. It's the universe, you trying to prove to the universe through suffering, through tests, from it being from something outside of you, to where you'll now get that exact same relief you've been looking for or that you got from when you grew up from your parents. But it's just a different form now of it being the universe testing you. You having to suffer to get what you want. It's just a new form. Something that seems like it's right, but it is outdated. And we're going to change this. But when you truly are giving your authority externally, even to the universe, something outside of you, which seems harmless, right? When you're giving a true authority over yourself, what you're doing, you're waiting on a test, you're waiting on getting an answer outside of you, a sign to give you a confirmation of you being on the right track. What you're actually doing and really cementing into your mind, reinforcing the same belief pattern, is you're still giving authority to something outside of you, which is the universe in this case, but also you're losing your agency, which is your sense of self, your individualization, the part of you to where you think for yourself. This also just brings those old patterns up as well, of proving, of waiting, of appeasing. It's really just old patterns, different form. The reason to why it feels right, even if it's spiritual, is because the thing that it does is it removes blame from things happening in your life. Oh, it's because I'm being tested. Oh, it's because the universe is doing this. Oh, it's because I'm being tested for my capacity, blah, blah, blah. All of these things people say online, right? It removes blame from yourself. So now you don't have yourself to blame for your problems, for why you're suffering. It's because of the universe, and the universe is testing you, going through these phases to see blah, blah, blah. See, can I remain on this frequency, or am I going to get pulled back into the old frequency? That's not the case. It also, it feels like meaningful because it's like you're connected to something outside of you that is going to give you the answers, right? We think that's how the universe works. And it really, honestly, one of the biggest things is that it gives order to chaos. It allows us to feel more in control of our life, of like, oh, I'm not responsible. I'm going to give it to somebody else, something else. When you do this, you're giving your power away unintentionally, even though you believe it might be the universe that's in charge of everything. This is where, when you stay in this exact same belief pattern, or just staying in this state, it costs you so much that nobody will talk about, but I will tell you exactly here. It makes sense though, but we're going to talk about the cost of why staying here is going to keep you stuck in the exact same loop of you thinking that the universe is always testing me. It's always seeing, am I able to handle this next state? Oh my gosh, I have to go through this. It's testing me. Oh, I have to stay in this frequency. If I don't remain in this frequency and fall off track, oh my gosh, I have failed and I'm going to go back to the old frequency. That isn't how it works. That's so much bypassing, so much avoidance to what people talk about, but it's not the truth of how you living as a human being on this earth, comprised of the spirit, yes, but you're also a human being and you have control. You have it within you to have the control of your life, of what dictates your world, because it all starts in your mind. Nothing outside of you has the power unless you give it the power to control you. Now let's talk about the cost of staying in this exact same state. Now this might be a lot of new information that is given to you, which makes sense. Take everything I say with a grain of salt and resonate it with you as much as it resonates, and allow it to come in and be just a seed in your mind, just planted. Because I was in this state for a long time and I didn't realize I was giving the power away. I thought I was being tested. I thought I had to go through these tests to get to a new level, but no, it's all in your mind. You're a human and you're meant to feel. Just because you feel something, you feel emotions like a human needs to, doesn't mean you're going backwards. Just because you make a mistake doesn't mean you're not spiritual or the universe isn't going to reward you. That isn't the truth. That is just masked as control in a spiritual way of being. But let's talk about the cost, which is the most important part. The cost here is going to be inaction on what you want to do. You're waiting for a sign. You're waiting for an answer. You're literally in suffering. You're like, God, please show me the way. Sometimes, yes, you'll get answers, but it's not like you're waiting here to hear an answer. The answers will be revealed as you move. It's not like you're directly going to get something like a download people want to talk about of what you're meant to do. Because we're not waiting on the universe outside of you to give you the answer, because you already hold it within, knowing the answers. But the seeds in your mind thinking something outside of you is going to save you or give you the answers is what's keeping you stuck. And it can cause you to stay in action, not acting out on your goals, because you want confirmation. You want all of it. And this is the same thing. You're looking for it externally. And you're giving your power away in this process. But it's all the same form. What also happens is you abandon yourself by waiting for confirmation externally. You're waiting. You're not giving yourself what you want. You're not acting on what you want because you feel like you have to wait. You have to wait for an answer. You have to wait for a sign. You've got to go through this suffering. You've got to wait to get a sign for it to be reality. You have to be tested before you actually are able to do this thing, when that is far from the truth. And the last thing that is crazy, the most craziest one, is your nervous system stays dysregulated. And the reason to this is because you're staying in the mind. You're staying in the mind and the spiritual sense, but we're not in reality. We're not in the 3D world, if you want to call it, the material. We're not here because we're thinking about the mind. We're thinking about something outside of us. We're staying in the mind, but the nervous system is wiring and feeling chaotic. And we're just here thinking about the mind of, oh, when are we going to get the sign? I don't know what I'm meant to do. God, give me a sign. Wait on it. Don't do anything about it. Don't take any action. Waiting. Suffering to get what I want. Suffering. Feeling like I need the answers. Feeling like I'm being tested. So I stay here because I know I'm being tested. I'm going to get the result no matter what because I'm being tested. After a test, I always get an answer. But your nervous system stays here in this chaotic form because we're not paying attention to the nervous system as much as we're paying attention to the mind. Your body is just as important as the mind. You have to make it coherent so that your mind and your body are both coherent, so that you're taking your power back and coming back to your body instead of staying in your mind and knowing or asking what's possible for me, looking outside of you, coming back to the nervous system and really allowing your body to feel safe even when you don't know the answers, and not giving your authority away to something outside of you when you already have all of the answers in here, even if you don't feel like it. That's the easiest thing that we can do, is think that something outside of us is going to give us answers. This is what social media does. This is what self-help does. This is what everything in reality, when people want your attention, this is exactly what it looks like. Answers, answers, answers. Give me answers, not because I don't know how to fix this about me. I need to feel better. I need relief. What do we look for? Self-help. All of these things that other people say, getting us to reach outside of us for the answer. And this is the exact same thing, but with the universe. And you have to be so careful about how you talk to yourself, about your beliefs and what you believe to be true, because it will become reality for you. It'll affect your emotions, your behaviors, and how it plays out in your life, how you live your life. It's just crazy how the mind is what I have to say. You have to be very, very wary about what you believe to be true. And really, what is this costing me when I'm waiting for something outside of me to tell me what to do? Really. So the last part of this video is the reframe of how you can remove all of these old ways of thinking, because it's really all an old truth and old belief that the universe has the answers instead of me. It all has all the answers. So this is why I'm suffering. This is why I'm being tested, because I'm waiting for relief from something outside of me, which is the universe. And the reason to why this is still a thing for you today is because it happened in childhood. It happened for you to where your parents gave you the answers. Your parents tested you by, maybe you had to get these certain grades. You had to prove to your parents that you were worthy. You had to prove all of these things. You were always tested to be proven that you were worthy by your caregivers. This same exact form is taking place, but with the universe as the external authority that you were giving it. Instead of your parents, it's now the universe. Same exact loop, but different framing. And you're still seeking this one thing, which is relief outside of you. But the new reframe is going to be giving it to yourself, giving relief to yourself and being your own authority, inner authority, which is the best thing you can possibly do for yourself. But the things that you really, really have to conceptualize after watching this video, I hope you do, is to really realize this is new seeds that you're going to plant in the mind. Ready? Wow, this person's happy now. These seeds, right? These are the new seeds, pink one actually, new seeds planted in the mind. Now, what does this mean? The new seeds are going to be that nothing is testing you. Nothing outside of you is testing you, because when you think something outside of you is testing you, you're staying in the exact same loop of something outside of you controlling you, something outside of you having authority over you, something outside of you is causing you to be where you are right now. And you're giving it away to somebody else instead of coming back to here and taking responsibility. Nothing, number one, nothing is testing you. Number two, all you have to do is start gaining trust within yourself. Trust within yourself that you're able to do these things that you say you want to do without needing something outside of you to confirm that. You're acting on what you want by listening to here. And even if you don't get a sign externally, even if you don't get what you seek outside of you, you're still following what you want by following your intuition, following what you want and you desire, you envision in your mind. And when you act on it long enough, you build the muscle of self-trust, trusting yourself that actually I can make it happen without needing anything externally to tell me or give me the answers. I'm not being tested to wait before I get started with this thing. I am building the self-trust right now and making things happen right now. I don't need anything outside of me to tell me when to start, if I'm on the right track, because those answers will already be revealed through self-trust. And what you have to do is just remain consistent about what you want to do. Repeat it. And then once you do this long enough, you'll build momentum. And when you build momentum, you're going to see exactly what works and what doesn't work in this field. Then you can course correct and decide what you want to remain focused on. It's all a game of focus while building self-trust. So you prove to yourself, actually, I trust myself. You're not proving, you're showing yourself that you can trust yourself. This is the exact process that you do when you start to give yourself consistency and prove it's not about proving, but showing yourself that when I'm consistent, when I do these things, I can actually do it. Instead of something outside of me giving me the answers, I practice giving it to myself. And when I give it to myself long enough, I believe that I'm the one that's actually able to give it to myself instead of anything outside of me. When you have that solid, it's going to become a belief. And now the new belief is that I hold all of the answers and I don't seek outside of me for the answers. I know all of the answers are within me. And I'm not being tested. I'm a human being going through emotions. And maybe I feel down sometimes, maybe I feel good sometimes, but it's all just waves of life. I find relief through myself because I know that I hold all the answers and I have so much self-trust built within myself that I will get through anything. If I feel uncertainty, all I have to do is remember all of the times that I trusted myself through the process and got through it. When I did something new, I was able to get here in this time and I was able to do this thing that was new, and I proven self-trust to yourself that you are able to trust yourself to now be this inner authority figure to yourself. Instead of it being the external anymore, you are now the authority figure instead of anything outside of you. And the last thing is, this really just creates safety. This is a whole line of like 1, 2, 3. Number 1, you got to realize nothing outside of you is testing you at all. It is all a false perception. Number 2, you got to create self-trust with yourself that you can act on what you say you're going to do. Keep it. This is what you want to do, not what other people are going to tell you to do, what you want to do. And you create it through consistency by repeating it, creating momentum and proving, showing to yourself, I can make it happen. And then you start trusting yourself. And when you start trusting yourself, you become that inner authority. And when you become the inner authority, then that's when your nervous system starts to feel safe again. You created safety by trusting yourself, by being that inner authority, listening to yourself, showing yourself I can trust myself with the decisions that I make instead of it being externally sourced. It's coming from me. Oh, I can trust myself actually now, not anything else. The universe is there, yes, but not in the way of me seeking external answers from it anymore. Not me being tested or suffering. It's just me being a human being and trusting myself throughout the process. So now the safety comes. Oh, I don't even know if you can see that, but within, oh my gosh, the spelling. Now safety comes within you, and you know that now. It's a knowing now. Your body starts to believe it because you started from the mind. You started to do things through repetition for your body to start believing your mind. Then your body started to believe you. And when your body and your mind are coherent, that's a whole new shift in your belief system and your whole identity. That's when you're in a state of inner authority, no matter what happens. And that's just your way of being now. And you don't even look to the old way of being or even believe that to be true for yourself anymore. And the last thing that you're going to gain throughout this is you literally have the power. You have choices. You have the choice to make anything come into reality because you can trust yourself now. You feel safe trusting yourself now. You have the power of choice. Imagine your life where every single decision you make, you know, okay, I'm choosing this because I want to do it and I trust myself. I can make it work. And if it doesn't, well, I tried it and I'm going to try something else. I still trusted myself through the process. Doesn't mean anything about me. You're also going to gain some agency, a sense of self without anything externally telling you what to do. And the last thing you're going to have is stability in your mind and your nervous system, which is the most important thing. People forget this when you're in the spiritual communities, all of this stuff. We just think about the mind and spirit, but your mind will be synced up with your body. And guess what? You will feel safe. And that is the most important thing out of this whole video is you're going to feel safe within yourself, which is the need that we've been wanting to meet this whole time throughout this whole belief pattern is feeling relief. What is relief? Safety. When you start to bring this all to yourself, you're going to give it to yourself now. And that is the ultimate gain here when you go through this whole reframe of giving it to yourself. Nothing outside of you was ever testing you, no matter how much you wanted to believe it. Sure, it was an old belief pattern that people re-influenced by social media, just spitting that shit back out to you. It makes sense. But the work is now being able to stay with yourself even when things feel uncertain, even when you feel unsafe, because you're eventually going to feel safe throughout time through proven external evidence or even internal evidence of you being able to trust your choices, trust yourself, self-trust, creating a sense of self. Something outside of me doesn't hold the answers, I hold it. And then you create stability with your mind and your body for coherence. And that is the main word here, safety and coherence. Did I spell that right? I don't know. Coherence, for you to feel both safe in the mind and the body.